Hey everyone, Hoopsmiles here, doing a live hula hoop Q&A class. Yes, so I'm just going to start out by doing my stretches. How is everybody doing out there? So like I do in some of my previous classes, I like to ask people, where are you watching from right now for this class? I'm just curious, where is everybody located? How is everybody doing out there? Yeah, it's kind of nice to be back here doing a class. Let me get my hoops here. All right, Carla, always good to see you. Always good to see you. Yes, so I just want to update everybody. I'm going to do something different for the classes in the future. The next class is listed for March 14th. You can check out that information on my website, which I've put in the description of this video. So what I'm going to start doing for classes is going to start getting more detailed in terms of what we focus on. So the next class is going to specifically just be on like chest hooping. So just want to try that out. I think this Q&A portion, just whatever people want to ask me is cool. But I think it also might be good to get a little bit more focus, just because I don't want to waste all the viewers' time out there if, people are asking questions and maybe you don't feel like you're getting your questions answered or whatnot, or someone else's question. I spend a long time doing that. So anyways, I'm going to do some more focus classes. You can check out my website to see some of the topics in the future, but the next class is going to be chest hooping. So yes. So next class, chest hooping. So like I always like to do with this kind of class, I invite everybody to ask me questions. What are your questions for today? What would you like to learn in this class? What would you like to focus on? So I'm just going to give it all to you out there. All right. It's good to see you, Golden Federico. Yes, thank you. Welcome to this class. Let's see here. How is everybody's isolations doing? I know isolations is a fun one here. I think I did teach isolations in one of the classes. I love isolations, but yeah, you guys want to learn some isolations right now? Unless anybody else has a particular focus, something they want to focus on right now during this class, feel free to ask me. How many of you can do just a basic isolation? There's also kind of doing isolations that involve sort of using the different planes here. So you can do a horizontal isolation, also known as a cat eye. You can also do a vertical isolation as well. So is that something you're interested in learning today? Please comment there. Let me know if you want to know some isolations. Let's see. Also, another fun trick. We haven't done too many like helicopter tricks where you kind of do this sort of motion. This is a very beginner trick that even if you don't know how to hula hoop, a lot of people can pick this trick up first time. And this is a nice trick that you can go into a transition such as a one-leg escalator up into hooping and lasso. So, okay, all right. Katie and Joe Mack, thank you. Welcome. Okay, so looks like we got our first suggestion here. So yes, let's do some isolations then. Let's go to the isolations. So I'm just going to start out with our basic isolation here. So I'm going to do a quick review, which I talked about this in a previous class. So the technique here is go ahead and grip your hoop at the very bottom of the hoop. Also too, before I continue, isolations can be much easier with a smaller hoop. So I'm going to switch out hoops. If you guys have a smaller hoop, grab your smaller hoop. Sometimes the smaller the hoop is, the better. So yes, you grip the hoop at the very bottom and imagine that your hoop is on a point in the center, okay? So find that center point and you're going to move your hoop around that center point. So it doesn't matter. You can either do this on your right or your left hand in either direction. Okay, so as you move your hand around that center point here, and as you get to the side, and you're going to move your hand continually up to the top, and you'll notice you cannot move your hand anymore. So at this point, that's when you let go of the hoop, roll the hoop over the back of your hand, and you continue on moving around that center point to continue in isolation. So hopefully that makes sense for the basic isolation part there. Transitions. Okay, we'll get to that in just a little bit, here. Yeah, so that's your basic isolation. What you want to avoid is this. This is just isolating your hand, and the hoop is then just spinning around your hand in sort of a vertical hand hooping position. So you want to focus on really getting a nice sort of rotation. So it looks like your hoop is more or less just floating in the air. Yes, so this is where you want to be at right there. Something that can help with that is basically if you have a mirror, or you also film yourself with a camera, you can go back and actually look at that video and see where you're kind of messing up. Sometimes I also like to look at the top of the hoop. That can sometimes help. And so if that hoop is kind of going off kilter there, you can focus then on actually getting that hoop back on track as well. So that's your basic isolation. You can always throw in a second hand there. So if you want to do a two-handed isolation, you take your other hand and you're kind of making it look like an illusion, like you're actually gripping the hoop with your other hand, but you're really not. You're just basically putting your other hand there, and you just kind of go with your other hand. So I'm using my left hand to actually hold the hoop. So I'm going to use my right hand, and like I said, make it look like I'm gripping, and I'm just going to kind of follow with both hands and basically let go, and then quickly bring my other hand to the other side to grip again. And so what that looks like in faster speed here, to give you an idea. Yeah, so I recommend also doing these isolations a little slower as well. So that's sort of your basic isolation right there. I don't even know if you guys want to get into cat-eye isolations. Those are a little bit more challenging to do. So like I said, the cat-eye, vertical and horizontal isolations, also known as like this is a horizontal cat-eye, and then also the vertical cat-eye. If you guys want to learn that in this lesson today, let me know. I can attempt to teach that. You definitely, like I said, want to master your basic isolation first, just this, because if you can't do this, then you're not going to do this very well at all. So you want to basically know how to do your basic isolation first. So, okay, yes, please. That sounds like a yes for the horizontal and vertical cat eyes. So yeah, so in terms, I'll give this an attempt here. Like I said, if you're struggling with just the basic, this is going to be challenging. Yeah, so just like you do with your basic isolation, you want to just go ahead and grip the hoop at the very bottom first. And now this next step might be a little tricky here. As you move your hand, so just like you were doing a basic isolation, as you move your hand to, let's say, the right side, because you can either go left or right here, but I'm just going to go to this side of the hoop. So as you move your hand to sort of that 3 o'clock rotation area, that's where you're going to kind of let go and let the hoop sort of pop out. So instead of when you do your basic isolation, you continually move your hand to the other side. But when you move your hand over here, it's kind of like you do that sort of let go, let the hoop roll over the back of your hand, but instead let the hoop pop. And then when the hoop pops, you're going to catch the hoop at its furthest point as you reach over to your side. And then you're going to basically finish your isolation by at the same time moving your hand down and then bringing your hand across. But this time you're going to as you move your hand to that 3 o'clock location, you're gonna then move your hand all the way to the other side of your body. And then you're gonna go ahead and do that pop motion again. But when you do that pop, you're gonna come back all the way over here to the other side. So that's where it gets a little tricky. And this is where you might just wanna basically just sort of practice this at very, very slow speed. Because the key here is you're almost kind of doing like an anti-spin sort of cat-eye here. So it's kind of like I'm moving my hand in the opposite direction as the hoop is spinning, if that makes any sense. So did that make any sense? Yes, horizontal isolation, how to make them clean. Mine are wonky and out of plane. Thanks for sharing, Katie, right there. Yes, those horizontal isolations are known to do that. So, you know, a little trick you can try doing. I'm gonna put this down because I'm actually gonna sit on the floor here. Let's see here if this will work. So here I am on the floor. So a little trick you can do to see if your isolations are clean is if you try it on the floor. So if you take, once again, your smaller hoop and try your horizontal isolations on the floor. So the trick here is you do not want to hit the floor, but you want to get close enough to the floor and you kind of go with the floor. So right there, I hit the floor. So yeah, so if your hoop is hitting the floor, that means that your hoop is not cleanly doing this horizontal isolation. So like I said, a little trick is you might just want to get down on the floor and practice this, because here's the thing, if your hoop is hitting the floor, so I'm just going to purposefully hit the floor. So right there, I hit the floor. So at this point where the hoop hit the floor, look where your hand is. What you probably need to do is actually make sure your hand is higher so that that hoop does not hit the floor. So now if I make that adjustment and raise my hand up a little higher, so here, now the hoop will not hit the floor. So did that make any sense? So like I said, so if I'm trying this and the hoop hits the floor just like that, that probably means that my hand is not high enough. So raise your hand a little bit higher to avoid that hoop hitting the ground. So hopefully that makes a little bit of sense. So you can kind of use the floor as sort of like a parallel line to help keep your hoop parallel and smoothly kind of go across instead of this zigzag sort of loop. You know, the hoop should not be doing that. It should basically just be a clean going back and forth sort of movement. So hopefully that was helpful. So like I said, try this while sitting on the ground. Also get in front of a mirror. A mirror is going to be really helpful to doing more of these horizontal isolations. But yeah, so like I said, getting on the floor might be helpful to just basically figure out if your hoop is going too low, and the floor is a great teacher because it can show you that you're not getting your hand up high enough. So let's come back and see where people are at. Woo. Okay, so that looks really good. Mine dip. Yes, so Katie, so I would say, like I said, get on the floor, and if you have that dip and the hoop is hitting the floor, like I said, see where your hand is. You probably need to then move your hand up a little higher at that point in the trick to make sure that it's not dipping so much. Cool, so that was the horizontal isolation. So maybe I'll just leave you with the horizontal for now. And I'll come back here and answer Carla's request. It sounded like you wanted to learn some transitions. I did show that transition from the helicopter to, what did I do? Helicopter to one leg escalator. That's a really cool transition right there. So let's look at that one. All right, so how many people out there know how to do a helicopter? I'll first just learn this trick. So this trick, where it looks like I'm spinning the hoop around my hand, I call a helicopter, and other hoopers out there have called this trick a helicopter, though there's like feel like 50 names sometimes for every trick. So basically to do this, there's also one-handed helicopters as well, but we're just gonna focus on the two-hand. So to do a helicopter, so first take your hoop, and for this trick, since you're gonna go into an escalator, you might not wanna use your smallest hoop because you wanna make sure your body can fit inside the hoop so that hoop can go up to your body. But starting out with the helicopter. So let's learn a helicopter. So the trick here is with both hands in front of you, hold your hoop underhand and really grip that hoop. And then you're gonna basically kind of bring that hoop up so it's going in front of me just like this. And since I spin the hoop to the right, for the people that spin the hoop to the right, this is how you're gonna do this trick. You're basically going to take your right hand and then you're going to sort of rotate that hoop slightly as it's coming behind your body. And once you move that hoop behind you, that's when you're going to take your other hand and you're going to also grip that hoop underhand. And then you're going to finish that rotation around to the front of your body. And then you're going to catch that hoop with your other hand, gripping it underhand, and sort of continue that helicopter movement. Now for the people that spin it left, the trick here is you're gonna start out with your left hand. So if you go the other direction here, and then you're going to do your helicopter in the same way by sort of rotating your hoop. You're kind of almost just doing like a semi-rotation, moving that hoop around you. Take your other hand, grip the hoop right here, and then you're going to come back around and then grip the hoop underhand again to do a helicopter in the other direction. Whoop. So hopefully that made sense right there. How is everybody doing here? All right. So to go from your helicopter to a escalator. So this is where it gets fun. So once you have your helicopter, we're going to now go into a one-leg escalator that looks like that, okay? So the next step is you have to know how to do a one-leg escalator. So let's look at that one-leg escalator. So the key here is to do a one-leg escalator, grip the hoop at your side. So you can either do this on either side depending on the direction that you spin your hoop. So right now, I'm going to do it on my left side. So depending on which side you do it on, you can just mirror this on the opposite side. So I'm going to grip the hoop in my left hand, underhand, and go like this, just at my side. I'm going to take my leg that's closest to the hoop, step it forward, and put it inside the hoop. Now to do the escalator part, you're going to take your non-hooping hand, and you're going to put it just on the side where the hoop is, kind of by your forehead. And the reason why you do this, I'm going to go ahead and actually get closer so you can see what I'm doing here. So the reason why you do this is because your hand will help protect your face just in case so the hoop doesn't hit you in the head. And this generally is where the hoop comes up where you can catch it. So that prepares you to catch the hoop. As you get better, you don't have to keep your hand by your face, but I would say that in the very beginning of learning this trick, this is just really helpful and it's safe, you know, to protect your head so that you're not getting hit in the head with hoops. So let's go back to the part of this trick where we have our leg inside the hoop here. Let me move this back down. So once again, you have your leg inside the hoop and you're gripping that hoop underhand with your hand ready right here to catch that hoop. This is when you're going to start rotating that hoop into your body, and you're going to basically want to hit the area just above your belly button. So that's kind of where you want to rotate that hoop. It's just around your belly button or just above your belly button. So as you notice, I'm wearing this cat shirt right here. So I'm going to rotate that hoop straight into the cat's head. pretty much. That's where I'm going to do that rotation. And so as you are sort of moving that hoop towards your belly button area, simultaneously, you're going to step your other leg inside the hoop. And at this point, you're just going to use the force of that pushing the hoop, the force of rotating that hoop into your belly button. You're going to give it a strong push and actually let go of the hoop. So this is what this looks like. So I'm going to push it into my body just like that. And the momentum of that push should be enough to have that hoop just kind of go blah, blah, blah up your body. Hopefully you interpreted my sound effect there. Yeah, so once again, I'm going to push that hoop. And like I said, with this push, you want to do it pretty firmly. So I'm going to push it in my body so that hoop, and then just release the hoop. And then the hoop should naturally just climb up your body to that spot where your hand is. And let's say the hoop is not going where your hand is, right here on your side. Then let's say if it's going too high or too low, then you can adjust your hand positioning. So if necessary, let's say that hoop comes up and for some reason it's coming way up here, then just move your hand a little bit higher to catch the hoop. And once you catch the hoop, you can continue spinning the hoop in lasso position above your head, just like this. And then you can transition into other hula hoop tricks. So now that you got the one leg escalator there, let's go ahead and go back to the transition from the helicopter to the one leg escalator. So you're now going to combine these two tricks together. So as you do your helicopter, just like this, okay? So as you come around to the side, so now I'm spinning the hoop, like I said, to the right. So when the hoop comes around my left side, which if you spin the hoop to the left, you're going to do this on your right side. So when the hoop comes around to my left side, and it's more or less in this sort of position from my helicopter, that's when I can quickly go into an escalator, yeah, the one leg escalator. So let's look at that again. So here I am spinning that helicopter, and as it comes around, boom, whoop, boom, and then go into the escalator. So once again, helicopter, and then I sort of pause it right there, put my foot in, and then escalator. So go ahead and give that a try. If necessary, you might need to do that trick super, super slow to make that work. So once again, helicopter, and then when the hoop is here from your spinning at your side, that's when you're just gonna go into that escalator trick. And you can now be spinning the hoop in lasso. And from lasso, of course, you can go back into a helicopter, or you can also bring that hoop onto your body. It's really up to you. So with that said, woo. Okay, nice, Carla. That's awesome. A new one for me to practice. Yes, please practice that one. That's a really good transition. I feel like it's really cool to find transition hoop tricks that flow together, and you don't have to, let's say, stop your flow and then do something and then get into another position that eats up time, and it's like, what are you doing? But that's one of those cool tricks that if you practice enough and get the speed of it, you can kind of smoothly go into that escalator, and you don't have to necessarily stop your flow to do so. Whew. Yes, Katie, yes, that is a problem for us all. The helicopter, you definitely need enough room to do it. Luckily here, I got this huge space that I have reserved at the library, and I have quite a bit of space, as you can see here. So the helicopter might be one that you want to try outside when you got some good weather in the future, because that is one of those ones where that hoop can be slippery too. So if you've got a wet hoop or something, You might want to be careful because that hoop can fling off, and if you got valuable, expensive items in your home, yeah, you don't want to break something. Anyways, let's see here. Space Envy. Yes, Space Envy. Yes, I have a really nice space right now, but I reserve this space. Otherwise, I live in a very, very small apartment, 225 square feet. So I really do not have space to do helicopters. Oh no, it hit your cat, Carla. That's not good. As you can see, I love cats. If that wasn't obvious, if you have now seen multiple of my classes, I have sported various cat t-shirts. It's because I love cats. Yes, move all your breakables out of the way first. All right. What about folding? What do you mean by folding? What is folding? I'm not even sure what that is. But you know what? Let's think of some more transitions. I think that's always a good one to focus on here. I'm trying to think. What are some more transitions that we can go from? I know we did the Vortex in previous weeks. How is everybody's Vortex out there? So this is the Vortex. This is a really fun trick. The reason why I say the Vortex, because this is a great transitional trick. So for the Vortex here, you might get a little bit more space envy when I show you that I have a higher ceiling here. So for the Vortex here, you can go into tricks like the pizza toss, which is a really, really fun trick. So it's basically like I'm tossing the hoop up from a Vortex. So, whoop, whoop. I don't want to go too high because I don't have the highest of ceiling, but yep. So I'm going to toss it up from a Vortex, catch it, and then you can basically bring it back to the waist or go into other hula hoop tricks as well. So yeah, so how is your Vortex going? And I guess another question is, are you even in a position to learn the pizza toss? It's actually, once you know how to do the Vortex, the pizza toss is not as hard as it looks. And like I said, it's a fun trick. So basically, I guess I'll teach the Vortex anyways. And this might be another one when you do finally have room to practice this trick. Definitely try it outside. Super, super fun. So if you're doing your Vortex, basically on the way up is when you have an opportunity to basically toss that hoop in the air. So I'll show you what that looks like here. So it's kind of like you're just spinning it on the way up. And as it's coming down, you can just catch it again. So you can either catch it with two hands, or you can, try a one-handed catch. And from there, you can either just maybe spin it on your hand, or you can catch it and then also go back to your waist as well. So yeah, so that's a fun trick right there. Like I said, if you haven't mastered the Vortex yet, you might really struggle with the pizza toss. But anyways, yes, the cats make me laugh on YouTube tutorials. Thank you. See, that's why I love cats. I love cat shirts, because I sometimes look at myself in the mirror and I start laughing because it's like I'm wearing this shirt. I mean, how can this shirt not make me smile? It's like a cat that's like walking away from an explosion and it's not looking backwards like action heroes, like it just was an action hero in a movie. Thank you, Carla. So also any tips for moving around instead of standing still, and hand movements while waist hooping? Let's see, moving around while standing still. Not sure if I know exactly what you are talking about there. Are you talking about if you're waist hooping, and any tricks for like if you want to move around your space while waist hooping, and like what to do while dancing, moving your hands. Is that maybe what you're referring to? I guess we could do a little quick tutorial. Okay, perfect. Do a little quick tutorial on that. So first of all, for movement, this is actually, I would say, in terms of one of the most important things to learn in terms of if you want to be sort of like a hula hoop dancer and actually flow and really get into the dancing aspect. Movement with your hoop is super, super important. So I would say for anybody who wants to be a hula hoop dancer, I would say mastering hula hooping around the waist and being able to move your body freely and having complete control of that is really where you want to shoot for. So to do that, let me show my feet here a little bit better. Yeah, so to do that, you need to first know how to move your feet. Moving your feet is really important. So what I would recommend doing is for movement, really practice like walking. So walking forward. And if you're struggling with walking, first practice just taking some baby steps. So, maybe just take one step, take another step, and then also practice walking backwards as well. So walking backwards, practicing is really important. And as you get better, you can then practice more steps. And really the key here is you want to flow with these steps. Hula hooping is very rhythmic. If it helps you turn on some music in the background, that can be helpful to kind of, get your steps in line with the music. Yeah, so once you get that walking, you can try walking in circles here, just like this. I would then try it in either direction. If you go sort of against the grain here and go the opposite direction that your hoop is spinning, it's going to be a little bit harder to do that. But yeah, so practice your walking forward and backward, just like that. And then next, practice side-to-side movements. So practice a side step, and then also the other direction as well. So this is going to really help you to get better with your movements. And once you get better with your side stepping, practice faster side steps, just like this, and see how fast you can go. Okay, so that's going to help you because then eventually you're going to be able to do these diagonal movements, just like this, and also maybe backwards, because that's then how you really get into this moving your body. So once you master your stepping, that's when you can, practice sort of, jiggling your butt or, moving your legs in different directions and dancing to music, okay? So I would say sometimes, the more that you move your legs and your feet, the cooler the hula hooping looks. So like I said, you want to basically get to mastering the control you have over moving your body. Because the less control you have, the less you're going to do, of course. And then in terms of that, so once you got your, you're able to do all this stuff, because basically it's like if you've ever played a musical instrument, like let's say guitar, and, you got the guitar part down, right? You're like, wow, I mastered this. And then you throw in singing. And now you're trying to do a singing piece and you're singing and you're like, whoa, I can't play the guitar anymore, because now you're doing two things at the same time. So you have to learn how to basically sing and play the guitar at the same time. And I feel like that can be similar to you're moving your legs and you're also moving your arms at the same time. So once you've mastered sort of moving your legs and you've gotten to the point where you're not even really thinking anymore about how to move your legs and keep that hoop up, that's when I recommend, really explore your space with your hands. And you can really just move your hands, side to side, also above your head as well. So really explore that space with your hands and just have fun, because this is a dance, practice. I also say that, there really is no mistakes in the way that you move your hands. If you ever done like static dance or like free-spirited dances. I recommend doing those even without your hoop, because it can just kind of sort of help you feel your body and understand how you can move your hands with the hoop. Also, too, you can practice sort of this, trying to catch the rabbit in the rabbit hole. Move your hands inside the hole of the hoop as it goes. You can kind of do this motion, too. This is sort of a movement you can do with your hands that might look cool as well. So those are just some ideas. Like I said, really explore hand movements. I also recommend just go out, practice, like maybe even for 30 minutes to an hour, and only do waist hooping, and just practice your body movements. Put on your favorite tunes that you can dance to, and just practice dancing, and imagine that your hula hoop is your dance partner. And yes, get to know your hula hoop, get to know your hoop, and flow together. Because very quickly, if you make a mistake, the hoop will show you. It'll either maybe fall down, or it might just be it wasn't as smooth. So yeah, I recommend doing that, taking some time, just having fun with it. That's actually one of my favorite things to do. It's just sort of go out, take some tunes, and just practice that hooping. And that's when you can start adding also too, like once you get better with this movement, moving your body, you can go into also different sort of planes with the hoop and do diagonal hooping, kind of spin your body around, have fun with it. Okay. We're kind of at the ending point here of this class. But yeah, that last part, like I said, hula hooping at the waist, practicing movement, super, super important. So if you haven't mastered that yet, please do that, because it's really cool. Plus, that's just a really good workout, and it's fun, super, super fun. So with that said, does anybody have any last comments, final words? Next week, next class is gonna stream March 14th. And we're going to try something different for future classes, and only and stick to a sort of a focus, something we're going to focus on. And the focus for next week is chest hooping. So yes, you can check out the live stream for chest hooping. Bring your chest hooping questions, anything that's related to chest hooping, and let's check it out in that next video. So yeah, so there it is right there. Thank you so much, everybody here, for watching. You all are awesome and amazing. And till next time, have the best hula hooping experience possible. And love some cats.